Now I wanted you to do 10 through 19 all, and so you needed to read the directions. A point is located at -3, -4. So -3, -4 would be here. If it's been reflected across the x-axis, then the new point would be located at -3, +4. They want to know the distance between these 2 points. So you would have to kind of figure out the distance from here and then on from here. Well, this one here was 4 below the x-axis, and this one is 4 above the axis. So the distance between them is 8, and here's your number sentence to show you how that would work. This one was at -4, so the absolute value of that is 4 away. This was at +4, and its absolute value is 4 away. The next example you need to use to help you with questions 11 through 17. So what is the location of City Hall? That's at the origin, so the location is 0, 0. What is the location of the police station? It is at 0, -4, meaning that you don't go left or right, it's just down here at -4. How many blocks apart are these two buildings? Well, you can count if you wanted to, starting here. When you get to this line, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also count in the spaces or the squares. Some people like to do that and see that those are 4 apart. They are 4 blocks. What is the location of the art museum? It is at 6, 1. The location of the animal shelter is at 6, -2. And they want to know how far are these two away from each other. And you can count in the squares if you wanted to. They are 3 blocks apart. What is the location of the hospital? It is at -6, -4. So -6, -4. And then the cemetery is 3, -4. So 3, -4. So they want to know the distance between these two going across this line right here. So some people find it easier to count and physically put a number in the blocks. And you can see that they are 9 blocks apart between them by counting with the numbers. What location is the hospital? It is -6, -4, and the police station is at 0, -4. So kind of the same thing, hospital to police station. Instead of going all the way to the cemetery, how far was it just to stop here? It was at 6. So they are 6 blocks apart. Using those numbers kind of helped me count for both of those questions. Continuing on, 15, the police station is being moved to its new location at -6, 1. Is the police station closer to or further away or the same distance from the hospital? And it will be closer to it. So I drew that in at -6, -1, so you could see that. -6, -1 is now here, and that is closer to the hospital than where it was here. Go back to that other question. It had said, the art museum and the animal shelter are moving as well. Their movement can be described as a reflection across the y-axis. What are the coordinates of the new location for the art museum and animal shelter, and how many blocks are they from each other? Is this the same distance as in question 12? Why or why not? The art museum is now going to be at -6, 1, and the animal shelter is at -6, 2. They will be 3 blocks. They are the same because they just reflected across the axis and they didn't move distance from each other. So they are the same. And I can go back and show you what those look like because I drew them in as well. The art museum and the animal shelter are still 3 blocks away here as they were over here. They were both reflected, meaning they were 6 away this way and now they're 6 away on this side, but the distance between them is still the same. Flipping back to 17, the stadium is also being moved. Its new location can be described as a reflection across the x-axis. What is the new location of the stadium? How many blocks is the new stadium from the old stadium? So the new location would be at -2, -3, and it would be 6 blocks away. So I can show you that. The stadium and the new stadium reflected how far it is away. Again, how far it is away going down. So I put that, and then the other question was asking how many blocks is it from the old stadium. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. So that's just counting those spaces in between them to see from one stadium to the other. Let me flip back. 18, on the map, the library is located at -2, 2, so I have drawn that. The city hall is located at 0, so you don't move, but then you go up 2. And then the middle school located at 0, 0, which is your origin. So library, city hall, and middle school. I've put dots on all 3. Represent the locations as point on the grid with a unit of 1 mile. What shape is formed by connecting them? Triangle. And the city council is planning to place a city park in this area. So how large is the area of the planned park? Well, some people can count the squares to see that there's 1 whole square and 2 half squares for an area of 2. And just as we will learn in geometry, an area of a triangle is similar to a rectangle where you do length times width, but then you have to divide it by 2 because it's only half. We actually call it base times height divided by 2. So if you do 2 blocks this way, 2 blocks this way for your base and height, that gives you 4. When you divide by 2, you still get 2. So 2 miles squared would be the area. 19, you need to place the elementary school, which is here, the middle school, and the high school. So then the district office is the last part to make this rectangle. So if you already have this, the only place the district office could be is here. So how do you know where this is placed? It is at 2, -3. It's 5 units from the middle school, or 10 miles, because each one of these represents 2 miles. And it is 6 units from the high school, or 12 miles. It's a rectangle, so this distance here has to be the same as this distance up here, and coming down has to be the same as over on this side. What are the length and width of the rectangle? You could call it 6 units by 5 units, or if you go in miles, it'd be 12 miles by 10 miles. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? You would have to add all the sides up. So you could go by miles, 12 plus 12, and 10 plus 10, which would be 44 miles for the perimeter. And the area of the rectangle is length times width, so you would take 10 times 12, and you would get 120 miles squared for the area.